test testing of Apex also, right?
Yeah.
Today we are going to talk about force.com sites. The first concept that we will discuss is force.com site.
Mm-hmm.
What is force.com site? Force.com site is basically okay. It's primarily a way of creating your own site. Now, what is a site? Site is like a website, right? So Salesforce allows you to create a site, rather a portal kind of a thing, which can be connected to the Salesforce.com database, right? So if you see the portals, the job portals or any other particular portal, those portals are connected to some database in the backend, right? Now, Salesforce allows you to create your own portal kind of a stuff, which can be connected to your Salesforce.com database, whatever data is there in Salesforce. Now, if you're thinking why would you need that, you might need it because if you have your data in Salesforce and you want to make some part of the data public, you want to display some certain things to people, and you just want to open that object for everyone so that everyone can see that, then you can create a site using salesforce.com, and anyone who comes to that site will get to see the information which is stored there. For example, if you're running a recruiting company, you have a table in which you have stored all the job vacancies, job openings. Now you can go ahead and make it a site. Okay, you can actually create a page which can be made public, and that page can be holding the information of all the job vacancies that you have from time to time. So your viewers will be able to see which all openings you have. Correct. So that's how a force.com site works. So any company which wants to build a small portal kind of a thing based on the database that they have in Salesforce, they can use force.com sites to develop that sort of a portal. Okay. So for creating a site, we need two things. We need the database, which we have already. You need to design the user interface or the page. So we will pick any of the visual force pages that we have created. So when people come, what page they will get to see, what kind of a page they will get to see. This is what we have to design. So we will pick any of the visual force pages for this. And we need a web address. There has to be an address for the site, right? abcd.com or something else, right? You need a web address. Now this for web address also, you don't have to go and buy a website or something like that. Salesforce allows you to create a subdomain. So all that you have to do is you just have to register a subdomain. What is a subdomain? Salesforce allows you to create a subdomain like xyz.force.com. So force.com is the domain and this is your subdomain. Correct. So Salesforce allows you to register this subdomain on your company's name. Then this entire thing will become your site's address. Okay. So ABCD
Mm-hmm.
Limited at abcdlimited.force.com. So that becomes your subdomain. So you can register your subdomain free of cost. You don't even have to pay anything to anyone, and you can use it. Mm, Right. So here we are. So all that you have to do is you just have to go ahead and create a subdomain. How do you create a subdomain? You just need to go to setup. First thing we need the subdomain. Visual Force page we already have. So to create the subdomain or to register the subdomain rather, you will just need to go to setup, develop, sites. Click on sites. Here you have the option of registering your subdomain. Check availability. If that particular subdomain is available, no, it's not available. You can try something else. This is available. So whatever domain name you finalize on, say I agree with the terms and conditions. Click on register my course.com subdomain. Click on OK. Now it will take a minute for you to register your subdomain. Now that becomes your company's address, web address, right? And now all that you have to do is you just have to put the Visual Force page on that particular address. That's it. The Visual Force page that you. So what information you want to display, how you want to display, that should be done on your Visual Force page. Design your Visual Force page in such a way where you decide, you write the controller what data you want to display, how you want to sort that data and all that stuff. So that's something which you should be doing in the Visual Force page. Here, all that you have to do is you just have to create the subdomain. Now the subdomain is ready. Uh, this is the address of your site. All that you need to do is you now just need to go and put the Visual Force page on this particular address, web address. Anyone who comes to this web address will be able to access your site. So let's pick a Visual Force page that we want to put here. Okay, slash. Okay, let me say I want to display this A16 in the site. So here, once your domain is registered, you just have to go ahead and click on new. And put give a name for that particular page. So this is a generic web address for your company, right? But you have to give a particular address for this page also, the one that you're creating. So you can put whatever name. So now this whole thing becomes the address for this particular Visual Force page. Make it active. Make sure you are activating it and select the Visual Force page. So this active site home page, all that you have to do here is you have to select which Visual Force page you want to display. A16 is the one that we want to display. Yeah. Got it? So all that you have to do is after you have registered with the domain, all that you need to do is you just need to pick the site label name. That can be anything. And you have to give the address here and pick the Visual Force page that you want to use. And make sure you're making the site active. So if you don't want the users to view this site right now, then you can just keep it inactive. Save. Your site is ready. So once the site is ready, all that you need to do is you just need to share the site address with people, and they can actually open that particular web link and view the data that you have displayed on the visual force page. So what data to be displayed, how to be displayed, that's something you have to do in the visual force page. Right. So now this is done. Okay, this particular thing we have saved. The page is saved. Here's the link. Let me just open and see if it is working. See, on this address, this page is available. The Visual Force page is available. Do we see the data when we click? No. When I click on this, I don't see the data.
Yeah.
Okay. Page is available, but the data is not being displayed. So that's something that we have to understand. Why we are not able to see data? We don't see data because we have not given the permission to display data on the site. Okay. So your page is ready, but because Salesforce database is a restricted database generally, so you will have to manually go and give the permission for objects that you want to display on the site. Right? So by default, it will not pick anything or it will not make any data public till the time you do not go and do it. Right? So we still need to just do a small setting change and make the data public. Which data? What data we want to display here? It's accounts, right? So I'll have to go and make the accounts public. So whichever object records you want to display on the site, you just have to go and make that particular data public for the site. How will you do that? You just need to go to public access settings, click on public access
Mm-hmm.
from the site, and in the public access setting, click on edit, scroll down. So this is basically the settings for the site. And in this site, if you see, none of the objects is selected, only ideas is selected by default to be displayed. Okay. I want to display accounts, so I should give a read permission for account. That's it. So people on the site can view accounts. If I want people on the site to be able to create accounts, then I should give a create permission also. But in this case, I don't need that. If my Visual Force page was to create accounts, then I could have given a create permission also. Then uh, the visitors of the page would have been able to create the accounts as well. But I don't want to give that create permission. I just want to give the view permission. Save. Site is ready. Now go to the site, click on channel accounts. Authorization require you must first login list. One second. Okay, because I am currently logged in into this. Let me use it from another browser. second.
Yep.
Information to fine. Saved. It's also okay. That's it. Okay. You guys try it on your computers. Let's see if it's working there. I'll give you the link. Open and see if you're able to see data. Just open this link. By default, you won't see any data. You just have to click on any of the buttons and then you should be able to see data. That's what the code is.
I can see tabs, channel accounts and direct accounts.
Hmm?
And from there, do I have to click anything there?
Yes, click on that
Uh,
button.
channel accounts.
Anyone?
Okay, when I'm clicking, I click direct. It didn't come up. It says authorization required, and that's the same with the other one as well. If you have forgotten password, it is asking me to log in.
1 second. Does it say authorization required to you as well?
Yeah.
1 second. Mm, might have done some settings. Okay. You can update any tabs and template. Setting. Okay, give me a moment. We have not created any page for this. Okay. Everything seems to be okay. Let's see. Now you see data. Now just go and update it. Refresh that. You should be able to see the
Yeah.
data now. Now it should show you the data. Right?
Yep, it is available now. Can see it.
Yeah, so whichever data you want to show, that's something which you have to go and give from the public access settings. And you know, in the Visual Force page, you will control what data you want to display, what query you want to write. That should be written in the controller of the Visual Force page. So this,
Sir, I cannot see it still now. It says authorization required.
just close that tab and open the, this one more time.
New window.
Yeah, sometimes
Okay.
it actually gets stored in your cache. So that's a bit of
Yeah.
challenge. So it might be, just picking up the previous one.
Hmm.
So whatever you want to display, how you want the users to see the data, that's something which needs to be mentioned in your Visual Force page. What logics you want to put, that's something which should be done in your controller. Finally, you should be able to display this, site with the help of host.com sites. So just create your domain and display it. All right. Let me know if there is any question or doubt. Okay. The next concept that we will talk is static resource. What's a static resource? Static resources, if you on a Visual Force page, if you need any, you need to reference any file, that is static resource. Microphones mute, please. So if you need to reference any of the files on your Visual Force page, that is static resource. Now you might be thinking, why would I need to reference a file on a Visual Force page? It can be an image file for a logo. It can be an image file for the background or a banner. It can be a CSS style sheet. It can be a JavaScript file. Any file that you want to reference in the Visual Force page needs to be saved in static resource. So static resource is the location where you save all these files which need to be referenced on Visual Force pages. Where do you find static resource? You just have to go to setup, develop. Under develop, there is static resource. Okay. So in static resource, you just have to go and click on new to upload the file or the zipped folder. See, use static resources to upload content that you want to reference in a Visual Force page. It can include the .zips and .zar files, images, style sheets, JavaScripts, whatever. Okay, so this is where you have to upload those files. Now, once you have uploaded that, how do you reference that in the Visual Force page? That's what we were just talking, right? And how would we reference a static resource on Visual Force page? To reference the static resource on Visual Force page, you should follow the instructions here. See, if it's an image, you can use it this way. If it's a JavaScript, you can include the script like this way. If it's inside a zip folder, you want to access it. If you have zipped it and you want to access it, you should be able to access it this way. Okay. If it's a style sheet, there is a component called Apex style sheet. You can use it. So for JavaScript, there is a component called Apex include script. So there are so many ways of calling them into the Visual Force page. See, if you want to call an image, you can just write this way. Correct? If it's inside a zip folder. So, when you start, generally you don't need much of static resource if you are designing something which is to be used within the company itself. But especially when you start designing something for like site, because definitely when you start developing a site which your customers will view, then you are definitely not going to be happy with the default Salesforce.com environment. This look and feel will not work, right? Then you will want to give this a more uh, branding kind of a look and feel, your company's logo, the colors your company website has used, that sort of thing. So maybe the styling also you might want to do the way exactly it is done by your company. So then that is where you can actually use the static resources. Generally, we do not need that much of them until and unless it's my requirement in some way to put some image or banner or something like that. For internal pages, we don't need these things that much. Right. Default Salesforce look and feel is okay for internal team. But when your customers, partners, they are going to view the site, then you need to do a bit of look and feel control for that page. Right. So that's about the static resources which you can use in Salesforce. All right. Now,